Episode 8. Elliot walked in gracefully, then sat down at the head of the table. Anyone who saw this man would think that God was unfair. God gave him wealth that could rival the government's wealth, a handsome face that all beings adored, a perfect figure like the sun god Apollo, a graceful and princely temperament, and the majestic aura of an emperor. This man lived for women to worship and adore him. Even Felicia hurriedly ruffled her hair while exuding her mellow and womanly temperament. Although she was 35 years old, she still had a dream of marrying rich. Let's start. The low and charming voice sounded cold. Felicia immediately coughed. Okay, the subject of today's meeting is the competition that we're participating in. First, congratulations to the two shortlisted designers, Alice and Anastasia. Anastasia raised her head and met Alice's provocative gaze. If she won this time, the company would give her a large bonus. Hence, they were rivals. Felicia immediately analyzed the situation of this competition. As an experienced designer, she was very confident in her work. While Anastasia was staring at the table, she suddenly felt eyes on her. Judging from the direction, it was undoubtedly Elliot's. Is this man really so free? Why is he staring at me all day long? Anastasia's mother sacrificed her life for him. To be honest, Anastasia really didn't want to see him. Although he was only 5 years old at the time and she couldn't blame him for anything, she still had a kind of resentment in her heart. Anastasia, tell me your opinion. Felicia suddenly cued her. Anastasia was daydreaming just now, and now she had no idea what Felicia was talking about. She raised her head and looked at Felicia in confusion. Which aspect are you referring to? Felicia's face immediately turned ugly. How dare someone daydream at my meeting? Anastasia, although you are a designer dispatched from the headquarters, you shouldn't be too arrogant and disregard me. You didn't listen to what I said just now, did you? Felicia was a harsh woman and wanted to teach Anastasia a lesson. The other designers looked at Anastasia as if they were watching her make a fool of herself, while Anastasia's face was also a little hot. While she didn't know what to say, a low male voice sounded. Tell me what the unique selling point of your design is. Elliot was giving her a reminder. When it came to her work, Anastasia immediately became confident. My work this time uses platinum, which is the most suitable material for inlays, with the addition of rhodium and palladium. Its gloss, hardness, and durability are very good, and it is also a rare material. It holds a superior connotation. It's not easy to depreciate. It's guaranteed not to change color. It has good stability, and it is suitable for collection purposes. My target customers are people who like to collect and buy luxury goods. After Anastasia finished speaking, she suddenly caught the deep gaze of the man opposite her, and she at once avoided it. In short, it's expensive. Alice sneered. I'm not the same as you. I focus on fashion elements. Nowadays, trends come and go. I think my work is more suitable for the market. Anastasia pursed her lips and smiled. Each of our work has its own selling point. Soon, the meeting finally ended. Elliot only came to listen and did not express his opinion too much. Okay, the meeting is over, Felicia announced. Anastasia, stay here. The others may leave, Elliot said suddenly. Anastasia was about to take a sip of water to moisten her throat when she almost choked on hearing this. She was instantly surrounded by envious and hateful gazes, especially Alice, who glared at her resentfully as if she had seduced Elliot by some dirty means. Anastasia was also lost for words. Can't this man see my situation in the company? I'm being scorned by other people, and he still has to fan the gossip by doing this. After everyone left, Anastasia leaned against her chair and said coldly, Is there something you need, President Pressgrave? Why didn't you accept the house I gave you yesterday? Elliot narrowed his eyes and stared at her. Why should I? I already said that I will not accept any repayment from the Pressgraves. Anastasia emphasized again. You should think about your son. The place I chose has great facilities that can support him. There is a much better kindergarten for the elites in the community. It is also safer and more suitable for you to live with your child. Elliot left his status as a superior president and turned into a salesperson. What he said was very attractive to Anastasia because, as a mother, it was her biggest wish to provide her son with the best education and environment. No need. I can give my son the best. Anastasia disagreed. For a businessman like him, he couldn't realize that the most precious thing was not material wealth, but emotional companionship. As long as her son was with her, even if she lived in less than stellar conditions, she would be happiest. Frowning, Elliot stared at the ruthless woman and felt troubled. In the future, if it's not for work purposes, please don't look for me again. After Anastasia finished speaking, she picked up her documents, then got up and left. In the afternoon, Anastasia received a call from her father, who asked her to go home for dinner tomorrow. He also said he wanted to see her. Thus, she agreed, thinking that she needed to go home for a visit. At the president's office, Elliot sat gracefully in his seat, listening to the work report of the assistant beside him. Go check the information regarding the father of Anastasia's son for me. Since material compensation did not impress Anastasia, Elliot could only start in other areas. Very well. Ray immediately went off to investigate. At this moment, Elliot's phone rang, so he picked it up and saw that it was from Haley. Hello, he answered as gently as possible. Elliot, are you busy with work? Can I have dinner with you tonight? Okay, I'll book a restaurant. Elliot agreed. Then I'll wait for you to pick me up. Haley was excited. Sure. Elliot hung up the phone while Haley's face appeared in his mind. For some reason, Haley didn't feel anything like the woman from that day to him. He vaguely remembered the woman that night. Her lips were unbelievably soft, and her body had a faint fragrance. Although she cried throughout the whole process, her voice was appealing, while Haley's voice was a little too sharp. Since it had been 5 years, anyone would undergo significant changes. Thus, Elliot just wanted to make up for her. After all, what he did that night caused irreversible damage to her life. At a fine dining restaurant, Haley came in a new Chanel dress, dressing to the nines. Using expensive cosmetics and the skill of a makeup artist, she enhanced her rather average looks, but she was still not eye-catching enough. She belonged to the category of an average pretty girl. She was not ugly, but not stunning either. However, tonight, she was the most enviable woman in the entire restaurant. Sitting opposite her was a top-level man who was handsome, elegant, charming, and exuded a regal aura. Elliot, cheers. Haley took the initiative to raise her glass and looked at the man opposite her eagerly. Although she had known him for almost 3 weeks, Elliot had always treated her civilly and politely. However, what Haley wanted was far more than that, for she wanted his heart, body, and, eventually, to be his wife. Now, because she had gotten his attention and everything he gave her, she was absolutely terrified of losing it all.
Full story is available at novelpalace.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.